Hello, hello, my friends. AmyR here with Prairie Paper and Ink. Welcome back to my face and my card making space. And a couple more cards using products from Simon Says Stamp's latest release, one of which I have already used and love, one of the 3D embossing folders. I'm going to do some simple ombre ink blending, more than one type of splatter, shimmery vellum, all the fun things. As always, everything I used will be listed and linked in the description box below the video. My links are affiliate links. That just means that if you click on one of my links and end up placing an order, I do get a little kickback from that at no extra cost to you. That is what helps pay the bills, keeps the lights going, all the things. And yeah, let's just get into making these cards. So, ombre ink blending. You can do this with any ink brand as long as you basically have a light, medium, and dark of a shade of ink. I went with my Simon Says Stamp Pawsitively Saturated inks because they come in trios. It's already done for me. I don't need to think. But at least this time I didn't do purple. I've been in a purple phase, which love it, don't regret it. But I was like, let's try some different color combos this time. So I'm using this trio of butter, zest, and honey. So a little bit, I would call this a muted yellow. Don't be fooled by my finished photos of like the finished cards. My camera makes them look way more like bright than they are. These are a little bit more muted. Love this combo. Anyway, I start with my lightest shade. I'm blending onto Simon's Smooth White 120 pound cardstock. And I start with my lightest shade, work my way to my darkest. I started out in the very beginning. It was real time, and then this is just sped up. When it comes to ink blending, just take your time with it. And start with a lighter hand. With the lightest shade, I generally, on a panel like this, like an A2 size panel, so 4 1/4 by 5.5 inches, I generally take the lightest shade pretty much halfway down. And I just lighten the pressure, because that's something you can't really show on camera. It's the pressure, but I always start with a lighter hand. I'm not pressing very hard at the beginning, like just lightly laying down color. And then I just increase the pressure closer to the edge. And then with the middle shade, same thing. I try to have a lighter hand. As always, my camera makes the blend not look the greatest, but it doesn't matter because in real life it looks fine. And also these inks do smooth out as they dry. So that's always another win as well, is my blending doesn't have to be perfect anyway, because once the ink is fully dry, it looks great. So the middle shade, same thing. I keep it a little heavier handed in the very middle of the cardstock and then just really lighten up the pressure and kind of am blending what's left on the brush so that they blend into each other. And when you're doing something like this, like an ombre where the colors are very, very similar, just slightly lighter or slightly darker, it's an easy blend. It's when you're blending colors that are very different that it takes a little more work. It takes a little more effort. More patience. More patience. Something that, I severely lack. But anywho, did the same thing with the second panel, which right now you could see how it looked a little messier, but see how already it's smoothed back quite a bit. It's not fully dry yet, but it's dry enough. And that one was Dew, Mist, and Raindrop inks. And then before I ran these through with the embossing folder, I sprayed the back of these panels with water. You don't want to spray the front because one, these inks are water reactive. And even if they weren't water reactive, I wouldn't spray the front because the water can create, as it absorbs into the cardstock, can create little, bumps and divots and things like that. And I don't want that. So I just lightly mist the back of the cardstock. That just softens the paper fibers so that when I run them through with this embossing folder, it creates less chance of the cardstock cracking. So this is the hopping hexagons, which I've mentioned this before. I used this in a previous video. Absolutely love it. Anything sort of geometric for me is always a win, whether it's a embossing folder or a background stamp, things like that, because it just works with everything. Like geometric patterns just are great. To me, I couldn't call them a neutral. So I embossed both these panels with the embossing folder. And I didn't miss the one with the aqua colors very well. So I did get a little bit of cracking, which you can already see kind of how those lighter areas. But I went with it. I was like, you know what? I actually kind of like this. So I even emphasized it a bit more. I took a sanding block. This is the same sanding block I've been using for like a decade. I'll have them linked in the supplies. You can get a pack of them for pretty cheap. And just lightly holding the sanding block, I just gently sand the very top layer of this. So the most raised portion of the design is being sanded off, and it's exposing the white core of the cardstock. And this always depends on the type of cardstock you're using, whether or not it's a white core, whatever. But you just go in with a light hand, because if you're using a thinner cardstock, you could sand right through, and create a hole. But this is heavyweight cardstock, so, and I just wanted just a light little bit. Doesn't show up as much on the yellow, because again, filming with yellow, I've talked about this, I've whined about this a lot. Filming and taking photos of things that are yellow, absolute headache. But anyway, I set those aside, and then I pulled out, this is the Exquisite Butterfly Wafer Die. Gorgeous. I'm going to die cut the detail elements from this Lawn Fawn Pearlescent cardstock. I purchased this a few months ago, and I've had it sitting here for the longest time, and finally just the other day, cut into it, used it in a video, and I was like, oh, this needs to be like part of my regular rotation. So I'm going to cut the detail elements with that pearlescent cardstock. The wings I'm going to die cut from Simon's Ice Vellum. And before I die cut the pearlescent cardstock, I ink blended over that as well. And I just used the lightest shade of each of these trios of ink and just blended it on there. I was doing this when I was blending the backgrounds as well. That's just a piece of Post-it tape. That just helps prevent me from getting fingerprints, like smudging the ink or getting fingerprints, because the oils from your hands can get into the cardstock and mess up your ink blend. Didn't want that. So I just used my little trusty piece of Post-it tape that I keep stuck to the top of my die cut machine, just to keep the cardstock from getting my fingerprints all over it. So I used the lightest shade from each of these trios to blend over this pearlescent cardstock, which you still see the pearlescent, and I'll show, like when I tilt the cards, in the light at the very end of the video, you can still see that pearlescent sheen. Love it. Gorgeous. So after I had blended those pieces, I die cut everything. And then off camera, I also die cut. I ran the detail piece through with scraps of black cardstock so that the bodies of the butterflies will be black. I also could have just taken like a Copic marker and scribbled over the bodies, but I prefer just solid black cardstock, and I have plenty of scraps always to use up for die cutting. So once I had everything die cut, I assembled my little butterflies. So the little detail pieces adhere to the ends of the wings. And because I die cut the wings from Vellum, and because this wafer die pierces all of that detail into the wings, these wings will naturally curl up a little bit, which just adds so much depth to what is otherwise a fairly simple card, really. So I just went through, adhered the little detail bits using my craft tacky glue. And then when it comes time to adhere the body, I just put a bit of adhesive on the body to hide, because you don't want any of the adhesive, showing through. And then I pinched it tight with my little reverse tweezers until the glue is dry. And then these butterflies are ready to go. So got everything adhered into place, pinched it with my reverse tweezers, let those dry. And then for my backgrounds, I trimmed these down a bit. They were originally A2 size panels. I trimmed them down to 4 by 5 1/4 inches, just so that my card bases will frame this out a bit. And once I trim these down, I'm going to add a fair bit of splatter. 3 different kinds, as a matter of fact. I tell y'all, when, the times I do videos without much splatter or none at all, and everyone asks if I'm feeling okay, I am. I always make up for it. Always. These needed splatter. So I put the backgrounds into my splat box, and I started with my white gouache. So I put a bunch of that onto, or not a bunch, a dollop of that onto my palette, watered that down, and then added a pretty healthy dose of splatter. Again, this shows up way better on the teal background than on the yellow on camera. In real life, you can see it, but someday maybe I'll figure out how to properly, adjust my lighting and things for yellow. It's not so bad filming with. It's the photographs. Not my forte. I've said that. I don't take the best photos of my cards. honestly, more often than not, I can't be bothered. You know, I try. And then I try to edit them and it makes it a million times worse. Is what it is. Anyway, good dose of white splatter. I let that dry. And then I'm going in with the black gouache. Much less. I don't want a ton of this. Just a decent amount. To me, this is a decent amount. Anyway, put that on my palette. Same thing. Watered it down. And then I'm going to splatter this onto these backgrounds as well. And then again, let it dry, which with the gouache, it dries quite quickly, at least for me anyway, because I'm also not adding, you know, huge blobs of it or anything like that. So splatter that onto each background. And yeah, it's kind of habit too, to kind of just go on an angle. Like I don't splatter the entire background. It's kind of like just an angle from corner to corner is what I aim for whatever reason. It just looks good to me. So splattered that black gouache. And then my final splatter is the Picket Fence Liquid White Snowflake Paper Splatter Watercolor, because we're going to add a bit of shimmer, because that goes nicely with the butterfly, because the butterfly is going to be shimmery. So we'll have a little bit of shimmery splatter just to, you know, tie it all together. So put that on my palette, splattered that, let everything dry, clean everything up. We're good to go. So once I got all of my splattery bits onto these backgrounds, I can then work on my sentiments, which for the sentiments, I'm using the With Thanks stamp set. Already a favorite, even though it's my first time using it. Already a favorite. And I know I got to dig through, I got to organize everything. You guys, I need more hours in a day. I need an assistant, whatever. I know I have some wafer dies, like word wafer dies using that Simon has released in the past that I've used a million times that go with this. Like it's the same font. I need to dig those out. I have a rough idea where they are because I used them in a video not too long ago. Anyway, now we've got stamps and some little sub sentiments and things. Love. So I just took the same smooth white cardstock. I'd put it in my MISTI. I used my anti-static powder tool on it. And then I stamped this thanks word with Simon's VersaFine Clair Nocturne ink. Stamped them each a couple times, and then I coated them with clear embossing powder and melted it. These don't have to be heat embossed. This ink just takes longer to dry, and I'm impatient. Already fully admit that. And two, I'm also clumsy. It's like when I do sentiments, if I don't heat emboss with this ink, no matter what I do, it's just I will find a way to smear it. So I would rather just heat emboss it and move on about my day. Plus, it does give it that extra shiny look, which is fun. So after I heat emboss them, I use the coordinating wafer die to die cut them. And then I also just die cut scraps of the white cardstock with the wafer die so I can stack these together. Because the way this wafer die cuts, in fact all the ones in the set, they're nice and tight, which I really like, you know, really close to the letters. And because of that, this would be in my opinion, a bit of a pain to add like foam adhesive behind, because you'd have to get finicky and trim things down. Why bother? Die cut scraps, stack them together. Faster, easier, more convenient in my opinion. So that's what I did. Stacked them all together. And then I'm going to adhere the sentiments to the card front panel, and then adhere my butterflies and let those dry. So the sentiment's got a good amount of dimension. When I adhere the butterfly, I only put adhesive directly behind the body. So like I said, the wings just naturally kind of are curled up a little bit, and it just gives all that movement and dimension with no effort, in my opinion. Love it. So set those aside. My card bases, top folding A2 white note cards, so 4 1/4 by 5.5 inches. I kept the inside simple. I just stamped one of the sub sentiments from that With Thanks set. And then there's a couple of little decorative elements in the set, like a line and a corner decorative element. So I took the line one, I don't know what you call these, but it's pretty. And I lined that up. I stamped the sentiments with the black ink, and then I just used the lightest shade of each of the trios to stamp that onto right below the sentiment, just to give it that little extra something. So got those stamped, and then I can adhere the card fronts to the card base, and I just adhere them directly with the craft tacky glue. You could also pop this up with foam tape. That would look really nice as well. Yeah, it just depends on how much dimension you want to build. So I just adhered them directly. And then I'm going to add a bit of bling. So using some Pawsitively Dazzling gems. For the yellow card, I used the Butter Pawsitively Dazzling gems, one of my faves. And then for the teal or aqua, whatever you want to call it, this card, I used the Surf Pawsitively Dazzling gems, and just a few. And I kept them, again, kind of following that trail of splatter, you know, because the butterfly's kind of angled in that way. It all just visually works, I guess, you know. If you want like actual like design info, concepts, visualization, all that sort of thing, Kathy Zielski, hands down. She's done so many videos lately, like explaining the design process and the thought process behind it, and, you know, grids and all the things that I'm quite aware of, but I just have a really hard time explaining the jumbled mess that's in my head. I do this professionally, y'all. I'm a professional. She's a million times better at explaining it. It's awesome. And then she also includes like downloads and all the things. Like, it's wonderful. Wonderful. Highly recommend. Always. Anywho, once I got my bling adhered with the craft tacky glue, just needed to let it dry, and these cards were complete. So like I mentioned, I'll have links to all of the things in the description box below the video. You just got to expand it. It's all going to be there. And then I'll put in the end screen some of the other videos I've done with like this embossing folder, as well as other elements from the most recent release. You can check those out if you haven't. And yeah, thank you all so much for hanging out with me, for thumbs upping and commenting. It helps a ton, and I very much appreciate all your support. Subscribe if you haven't. I'd love to have you, and I'll see you all very soon in the next one. Bye. Thank you so much to my amazing Patreon supporters. For anyone that might be interested in joining my Patreon community and supporting me, the link to my Patreon is in the description box below the video. For everyone else, as always, thank you all so much for taking the time to watch my videos, for thumbs upping, commenting, subscribe if you haven't. I'd love to have you. And here's a couple other videos for you to check out in case you missed them. Bye!